Welcome to Wonderslate. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates. Topic for today's video is Life Processes Class 10 Science. Life processes. The process by which an organism takes food and utilizes it is called nutrition. Organisms need the energy to perform various activities. The energy is supplied by the nutrients. Organisms need various raw materials for growth and repair. These raw materials are provided by nutrients. Materials which provide nutrition to organisms are called nutrients. Carbohydrates, proteins and fats are the main nutrients and are called macronutrients. Minerals and vitamins are required in small amounts and hence are called micronutrients. But they show divergence in how they fulfill this demand. Some animals feed on simple inorganic compounds to meet their nutrient requirement, while others utilize complex compounds. The mode of nutrition varies from one species to another. Autotrophic nutrition is fulfilled by the process by which autotrophs intake carbon dioxide and water, and convert these into carbohydrates in the presence of chlorophyll. Sunlight is called photosynthesis. In the autotrophic mode, organisms use simple inorganic matters like water and carbon dioxide in the presence of light and chlorophyll to synthesize food on their own. Plants, algae, and bacteria are some examples where autotrophic nutrition is observed. The organisms which cannot produce food on their own and depend on other sources or organisms are called heterotrophs. This mode of nutrition is known as heterotrophic nutrition. Fungi and all the animals including humans are heterotrophs. Heterotrophs can be of many varieties depending upon their environment and adaptations. Some may eat plants and others eat animals while few eat both. Thus we can say survival of heterotrophs depends directly or indirectly on plants. The green portion of the plant contains a pigment chloroplast, chlorophyll. Sunlight absorbed by chloroplast, carbon dioxide enters through stomata, and oxygen is released as a byproduct through stomata on the leaf. Reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. Sunlight activates chlorophyll, which leads to splitting of the water molecule. The hydrogen, released by the splitting of a water molecule, is utilized for the reduction of carbon dioxide to produce carbohydrates. Oxygen is the byproduct of photosynthesis. Carbohydrate is subsequently converted into starch and is stored in leaves and other storage parts. The splitting of water molecules is a part of the light reaction. The opening and closing of stomatal pores are controlled by the turgidity of guard cells. When guard cells uptake water from surrounding cells, they swell to become a turgid body, which enlarges the pore in between. This is called stomatal opening. While, when water is released, they become flaccid, shrinking to close the pore. This is called stomatal closing. The human digestive system comprises of the alimentary canal and associated digestive glands. Alimentary canal comprises of mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine and large intestine. The mouth has teeth and tongue. Salivary glands are also present in the mouth. The tongue has gustatory receptors which perceive the sense of taste. The tongue helps in turning over the food so that saliva can be properly mixed in it. Teeth help in breaking down the food into smaller particles so that swallowing of food becomes easier. There are 4 types of teeth in human beings. The incisor teeth are used for cutting the food. The canine teeth are used for tearing the food and for cracking hard substances. The premolars are used for the coarse grinding of food. The molars are used for fine grinding of food. Saliva makes the food slippery, which makes it easy to swallow the food. Saliva also contains the enzyme salivary amylase or ptyalin. Salivary amylase digests starch and converts it into sucrose. Stomach is a bag-like organ. Highly muscular walls of the stomach help in churning the food. The walls of the stomach secrete hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid kills the germs which may be present in food. It is a highly coiled tube-like structure. The small intestine is longer than the large intestine, but its lumen is smaller than that of the large intestine. Liver is the largest organ in the human body. The liver manufactures bile, which gets stored in the gallbladder. From the gallbladder, Bile is released as and when required. Pancreas is situated below the stomach. It secretes pancreatic juice which contains many digestive enzymes. Respiration is a metabolic process that occurs in all organisms. It is a biochemical process that occurs within the cells of organisms. In this process, the energy, ATP adenosine triphosphate, is produced by the breakdown of glucose, which is further used by cells to perform various functions. Every living species, from a single-celled organism to dominant multicellular organisms, perform respiration. It is the process of cellular respiration that takes place in the presence of oxygen gas to produce energy from food. This type of respiration is common in most of the plants and animals, birds, humans, and other mammals. In this process, water and carbon dioxide are produced as end products. It is a process which takes place in the absence of oxygen gas. In this process, the energy is obtained by the breakdown of glucose in the absence of oxygen. One of the best examples of anaerobic respiration is the process of fermentation in yeast. Lactic acid is formed in some microbes as well as in the muscle cells. Pyruvic acid is either converted into ethyl alcohol or lactic acid. The human respiratory system is composed of a pair of lungs. These are attached to a system of tubes which open on the outside through the nostrils. There are two nostrils which converge to form a nasal passage. The inner lining of the nostrils is lined by hair and remains wet due to mucus secretion. The mucus and the hair help in filtering the dust particles out from inhaled air. Further, air is warmed up when it enters the nasal passage. Pharynx. It is a tube-like structure which continues after the nasal passage. This part comes after the pharynx. This is also called voice box. This is composed of rings of cartilage. Cartilaginous rings prevent the collapse of trachea in the absence of air. A pair of bronchi comes out from the trachea, with one bronchus going to each lung. A bronchus divides into branches and sub-branches inside the lung. These are air sacs at the end of bronchioles. The alveolus is composed of a very thin membrane and is the place where blood capillaries open. This is alveolus, where the oxygen mixes with the blood and carbon dioxide exits from the blood. The exchange of gases, in alveoli, takes place due to the pressure differential. During running, the energy demand from the muscle cells increases. This is compensated by anaerobic respiration and lactic acid is formed in the process. The deposition of lactic acid causes pain in the leg muscles. The pain subsides after taking rest for some time. Life processes. The circulatory system is responsible for transport of various substances in human beings. It is composed of the heart, arteries, veins and blood capillaries. Blood plays the role of the carrier of substances. Human beings, like other multicellular organisms, need a regular supply of foods, oxygen, etc. This function is performed by a circulatory system or transport system. Heart. Heart is a muscular organ, which is composed of cardiac muscles. The heart is a pumping organ which pumps the blood. The human heart is composed of 4 chambers, viz. Right atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle and left atrium. Contraction of cardiac muscles is called systole. Relaxation of cardiac muscles is called diastole. Pulmonary arteries are exceptions because they carry deoxygenated blood from the heart to lungs, where oxygenation of blood takes place. These are thin-walled blood vessels which carry deoxygenated blood from different organs to the heart. Pulmonary veins are exceptions because they carry oxygenated blood from lungs to the heart. Valves are present in veins to prevent backflow of blood. Capillaries are very tiny blood vessels, so small that a single red blood cell can barely fit through them. They help to connect your arteries and veins in addition to facilitating the exchange of certain elements between your blood and tissues. Blood is a connective tissue which plays the role of the carrier for various substances in the body. Blood is composed of 1. Plasma 2. Blood cells 3. Platelets. Blood plasma is a pale-colored liquid which is mostly composed of water. Blood plasma forms the matrix of blood. There are two types of blood cells, viz. red blood cells and white blood cells. Red blood corpuscles are of red color because of the presence of hemoglobin, which is a pigment. Hemoglobin readily combines with oxygen and carbon dioxide. The transport of oxygen happens through hemoglobin. Some part of carbon dioxide is also transported through hemoglobin. White blood corpuscles, these are of pale white color. They play important role in the immunity. Platelets are responsible for blood coagulation. Blood coagulation is a defense mechanism which prevents excess loss of blood in case of an injury. Lymph is formed from the fluid which leaks from blood capillaries and goes to the intercellular space in the tissues. This fluid is collected through lymph vessels and finally returned to the blood capillaries. Lymph also plays an important role in the immune system. Lymph or yellowish fluids escape from the blood capillaries into the intercellular spaces, contain less proteins than blood. Lymph flows from the tissues to the heart, assisting in transportation and destroying germs. In the human heart, blood passes through the heart twice in one cardiac cycle. This type of circulation is called double circulation. One complete heartbeat in which all the chambers of the heart contract and relax once is called cardiac cycle. The heart beats about 72 times per minute in a normal adult. In one cardiac cycle, the heart pumps out 70 milliliters blood and thus, about 4,900 milliliters blood in a minute. Double circulation ensures complete segregation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, which is necessary for optimum energy production in warm-blooded animals. Transportation in plants consists of xylem and phloem. Xylem is responsible for transportation of water and minerals. It is composed of tracheids, xylem vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber. Tracheids and xylem vessels are the conducting elements. The xylem makes a continuous tube in plants which runs from roots to stem and right up to the veins of leaves. Carry water and minerals from the leaves to the other part of the plant. Phloem is responsible for transportation of food. Phloem is composed of sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and bast fibers. Sieve tubes are the conducting elements in phloem. Carries product of photosynthesis from roots to other part of the plant. The human excretory system is composed of a pair of kidneys. A tube, called ureter, comes out of each kidney and goes to the urinary bladder. Urine is collected in the urinary bladder, from where it is expelled out through urethra as and when required. Kidney is a bean-shaped organ which lies near the vertebral column in the abdominal cavity. The kidney is composed of many filtering units, called nephrons. Nephron is composed of a tangled mess of tubes and a filtering part, called glomerulus. The glomerulus is a network of blood capillaries to which renal artery is attached. The artery which takes blood to the glomerulus is called efferent arteriole and the one receiving blood from the glomerulus is called efferent arteriole. The glomerulus is enclosed in a capsule-like portion, called Bowman's capsule. The Bowman's capsule extends into a fine tube which is highly coiled. Tubes from various nephrons converge into collecting duct, which finally goes to the ureter. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any suggestion for us, feel free to leave comments. If you liked the video and want to see more of it, hit the thumbs up and don't forget to click on subscribe button to get more updates of the future videos.